Hello, weebs. Here, back with another video. The captain of the 13th Division has a stellar record. His first proper fight in the manga we get to see is against a hollow that looks like a kid and acts like one too. But that's not all. His other contributions include tag teaming the number 1 Espada alongside Shusui, a fight at which he did not get to finish because Wonder Voice took him out in one hit, dying and giving power to Yawatch, letting his vice captain Kai and Shiba fight a hollow which had already destroyed his Zanpakuto, along with because of honor, creating the substitute Soul Reaper badge, which resulted in Genjo going rogue. Clearly a tactical mastermind. Certainly this sickly, barely clinging to life Shinigami is the best choice for a captain. I see no issue. Let's just move on. What is there to say about the darling and kind captain of the 12th Division? That he is such a benevolent leader that he finds uses for even the weakest and most disobedient members of his squad, so that not one person goes to waste. How he always makes time to play with his daughter? There are just far too many things this great man has done, so instead let's talk about his intelligence. Clearly he is the smartest character in the series. Huh? Aizen? Kisuke? No. People, Mayuri is the most intelligent character. After all, he created Nemu, who is just the first step in his secret project. What project, you ask? Simple, Mayuri is experimenting with creating waifus. Truly a wonderful man he is, a man of culture. A man so powerful his Zanpakuto spirit was able to manifest itself for who knows how long, and actually become a lieutenant-ranked Shinigami with its own Zanpakuto. How does that make sense? Because he's mother effing Kenpachi Zaraki, a monster so powerful he could defeat a guy who turned fantasy into reality with his imagination just by existing, as the Vision found out that hard way. Nobody can contain Kenpachi's might but his own. Beyond this, he has an almost flawless track record, having his only on-screen fight he ever lost was against a pre-Bankai Ichigo who was using a false Zanpakuto and less than a year of training. Truly a monster to be feared. He might be the youngest captain, but he's a child prodigy, and like a child, he's a master of overhyping things. 1,000-year ice prison, anyone? More like 5-minute ice prison. But let's move on from the naming scheme of his attacks and look at the design of his Bankai instead. Those beautiful majestic dragon wings, made of ice, they look so cool. Sorry, excuse the pun. Wait, you mean that wasn't his true Bankai? What do you mean his true Bankai turns him into a Bishi and doesn't have dragon wings? Man, Kubo, you really threw us through a loop with this guy, huh? He tricked us not only into thinking that when the flower petals vanished his Bankai would stop, but he also tricked the characters in the series into believing that, when really they were just the countdown to a power-up instead. Well, I guess all his fangirls got what they really wanted. He's a guy who actually looks legal. Probably best I move on before I do something to insult him, and they come at me with pitchforks. The captain of the 9th Division is a gentle fellow, following the path of the least bloodshed, which involves the murder of thousands of innocent people, the allying with soul-eating monsters, and killing those whose job it is to destroy these soul-eating monsters, and helping innocent souls pass on to the afterlife. But more than that, he is a dedicated man, someone who is focused completely on his ideals, that he believes that the duty of defending innocent souls isn't worth dying over, and is in fact pointless. He is someone who is driven by the inherent will for when someone dear to him passed, someone who loved the world inexplicably, was murdered, he declared he would follow her path of the least bloodshed by hating the world and helping Aizen destroy the current world she loved so much. To this end, he became a soul-consuming monster himself, casting aside his friend and comrade alike. Don't let his hypocrisy sway you. He is truly a man dedicated to preventing bloodshed in the best way possible by causing more bloodshed. Despite being a man who prizes peace over war and believes that once a fight starts everyone is in the wrong, he is still a respectful individual who will not insult his opponent by refusing to fight them. This is shown perfectly by his Zanbakuto. In Shikai it's all about games, showing just how seriously he feels about fighting his opponents, which is only complemented by his laid-back demeanour, showing his opponents just the right amount of respect he believes they deserve from him. Then there is the fact that this is a man of culture, always treating women well with compliments, and even during a fight doesn't miss a chance to compliment them. And a man of culture, no woman is beyond his gaze, be it a former lieutenant who was in exile, or his own niece and current lieutenant. But as a man of culture, he knows that waifus are waifus because they don't exist. So he created one. His Zanbakuto is a beautiful young woman who scolds and comforts him in just the way he likes it. Shunsui, a man we can all aspire to be, aged pervert and a gentleman, respectful and mocking, kind and yet harsh. Truly he is a beautiful man. The captain of the 8th Division is an unfalteringly loyal fellow, as loyal as a dog to his master in fact, so loyal he is, even when his friend betrays him, his home, his people, and aims to kill thousands of innocents, he will still consider him a friend, and aim to save him from himself. He is also proud of his bestial strength that is possessed by his Bankai, to the point that he never even considered someone could survive a single blow, let alone counterattack him, a mysterious fellow, whom hid his appearance from all but Yamamoto, so mysterious in fact, that we never actually learn where he came from, why he looks the way he does, or even what he really is. I mean, is he a werewolf? Do humans who die after spending a lifetime acting like a beast physically transform when they get to the Soul Society? His clan was born of vengeance, but what does that mean? And now, is he stuck as a dot pet forever? Wait, I got it. If he grows as big as his great-grandfather, then we could have Great Brown Wolf Sajin. A man who at the beginning of the series could be looked at as lawful stupid, believing no matter what the law says, one must follow it to the letter, and anyone who goes against the law must be punished. But after getting into a fight with a 15-year-old kid and failing to kill him 3 times, he mellows out and becomes a lot more Oni-san than Oni-sama, while he still retains the ability to cut down almost anyone should they become a threat to the people he wants to protect. Seen when he kills Tsukishima because he was Ichigo's enemy, even after having him insert into his past as someone else important to him. He is also so proud of his status as a noble and as a captain that rather than just immediately destroying his enemy by overwhelming them with thousands of blade, he'd rather beat them at their own game before demonstrating to them why they are so inferior by utterly decimating them just when they think they have the upper hand. He is so proud, in fact, that only 2 people have ever seen one of his strongest attacks, and one of those is a 15-year-old kid who he had failed to kill. Such immeasurable pride. Aizen is a true genius. He created the Hogyoku, this crazy sentient sphere thing, which could break down the wall between Hollow and Shinigami, along with causing the manifestation of powers like Orohime's ability to reject reality itself. But his genius goes further beyond that. He watched Ichigo grow up, knowing full well that he has the power of Shinigami, Hollow, and Quincy inside of him, due to his experiments. He set up all of Ichigo's fights so that he can grow strong enough to face him, so that when the time comes, Ichigo can push him further to evolve. And then he loses. He actually gets beat by this kid, who has been Shinigami for less than a year, after hundreds of years of planning and scheming, because he apparently didn't know his own desires. See, this is why I say my Yuri is the most intelligent captain. He knows what he wants, and what he wants is to make waifus. But let's talk about his immense combat potential instead. First, his physical stats are insane, even before he fuses with the Hogyoku. Able to easily block both Renji and Sajin's Shikai without effort. His Shikai is one of the strongest in the series, being able to create almost perfect illusions, and even after losing his Zanbakuto, he still possesses the ability to affect those around him, even someone as powerful as Yuanch. While still being sealed up, His Ryatsu is strong enough that even the king of the Quincy considered him a special war power, while still being sealed. It is so immense that only one existence in all of Bleach is able to fully contain it, a magnificent and all but unstoppable force of restraint. Chair-sama! A woman who seems to embody the traits of the ideal Japanese woman, but is in fact a blood knight to the point you might think she's a split personality disorder. One second she is polite, kind and caring, head of a bunch of doctors and nurses. Next, she's thirsting for battle, seeking out any opponent to please her sword. I guess it makes sense when you realise she's part of the original Gotei 13, which was just a bunch of murder hobos, and some of the worst criminals in the Serete's history. Such a powerful, calculating and tactical fighter, with a range of abilities, but going from offensive to defensive to supplementary, more experienced than anyone in the entire Soul Society, if you're not counting Yamamoto. And what an amazing fight did we get to see from this legend? What do you mean she only had one fight in the entire series? And it was against one of her own allies. Ugh, what a waste. Even back in the Soul Society arc there were hints at her power, but I guess, like everything else towards the end of Bleach, she got shafted. One word you could use to describe this man is a snake, tricking and betraying anyone to reach his goal, a goal which, when looked at in retrospect, seems pointless. He wanted to take back what Aizen took from Matsumoto, but it never seems to have any dramatic effect on her to begin with. In fact, his actions hurt her far more than whatever Aizen and his goons did to her when she was a kid. Then there is the fact that he didn't even manage to succeed in doing anything but harming the chances of defeating Aizen in the end anyway. Attempting to kill Ichigo, check. Helping Aizen escape with Urahara's Hogyaku, check. Helping Aizen harvest more souls to create special hollows, check. Helping get not one, not two, not even 3 captains exiled to the living world, but a massive 8 of them, 7 in one go, removing over half the captains at once. His snake-like nature even extends to his Zanpakuto, which we never find out the true extent of, what it is capable of, with him lying about its speed, length, and everything else about it. So we never really get a grasp about what its abilities are, with his only fight in the series being limited to him either not taking them seriously, escaping before things get intense, or going against Aizen, where he tries to run away and gets killed. In the end, for all his slyness, he ends up being just another pawn in Aizen's game. Captain of the 2nd Division and commander of the Stealth Force, despite her Bankai being a massive missile, is more interested in renovating her division for her great Yoichi-sama than training his subordinates, and despite her Shikai ability literally being death in 2 steps, it fails to kill Aizen because he has superior Ryatsu, meaning it's pretty much useless against most of the top tiers in the verse like Yamamoto, Kenpachi, Ichigo, Yawatch, and so on. And let's not forget that she's bragging about surpassing Yoichi, and how she created the ultimate technique only to find out Yoichi can do it better and has already mastered it, along with going from wanting to kill her teacher to crying in her arms. Seems a bit emotionally unstable to run the Stealth Force, if you ask me. The captain commander of the entire Gotei 13 shows that with time comes wisdom. Wisdom to look back at your past self and realise you were just a brat who could not understand anything. In the past, he was a monster who would sacrifice just about anything and anyone to achieve his goals, and even created a band made of the worst thugs throughout the entire Soul Society to make the first generation of captains. But now he's a stubborn old man who will listen to any order he is given, no matter how ridiculous it seems, and stubbornly believes that those that give the orders are justice itself. Willing to incinerate 2 captives and a group of humans, he also doesn't believe that risking one's life to save a friend is worth it, shown when he disapproves of Ichigo trying to save Orihime, is very untrusting, as he believes she willingly betrayed them. He is also a prideful fool, believing that involving humans in his business is unwise, despite said humans having the ability to restore his lost arm, and is bordering on hypocrisy with how he is willing to perform an action which would have got Rukia executed at the beginning of the series, showing that he is willing to ignore laws when it suits him. Overall, he is just an incredibly powerful old fart who is stuck living in the past with traditions, is only willing to look into the future when it's convenient for him and his pride. See you next time, weebs. Signing off. And don't forget, embrace your weebdom.